Welcome to Hack Your Happiness.
Hi, I'm Mercedes Korngat, one of your co-hosts, and I'm so excited that you decided to join us for this conversation today with the one and only Phil Rosenthal. We just wrapped up speaking with Phil, and oh my gosh, what an incredible conversation. Before we get into this podcast episode, send this episode to the people in your life. Send it to your friends, send it to your family, send it to the people that you want to go on a trip with one day. I know I'm sending it to a bunch of my family. The topics that we go through with Phil today are just so important. We talk about the importance of spontaneity. We talk about how to build a stronger bond with your family and your siblings. We also, of course, get into some of those crazy foods that he's tried and what brings people happiness in the different cultures that he's visited before. When you send a podcast link to someone, to your family, to your friends, it shows them that you're thinking about them, which makes them feel happy. And it also brings us a small bit of happiness because we feel good for helping out others. Send this podcast to the people that you need to, and let's get into the episode. Today, we are speaking with Phil Rosenthal.
Ever since I was a little kid and I saw Mary Poppins, when you're a little kid and you see that was mind-blowing. So I wanted to live in that world.
He wrote one of the greatest sitcoms.
Everybody Loves Raymond.
Creator of Somebody Feed Phil.
Phil Rosenthal.
Phil Rosenthal. Phil Rosenthal.
What's the biggest thing that you've learned about happiness from your travels?
I'd never been anywhere, but I went to Paris. What I'm going to tell you, that it changes your life.
We love watching you and your brother, Richard, working together. And so what are your top tips, Phil, for building a strong bond with one's sibling?
I'm 5 years older than him, but I was kind of resentful that he was taking all the spotlight until
What's your advice on how to manage life's most unpredictable situations?
Everything around you is variable, meaning it can always change. If you are
Welcome to Hack Your Happiness.
Welcome, Phil.
Hello. It's so nice to see you both.
Hack Your Happiness is a podcast designed to bring you the behind the scenes of what brings iconic individuals happiness, plus their life hacks.
I'm Mercedes.
And I'm Anastasia.
Thank you. We are such tremendous fans of your show. You're an award-winning creator of Everybody Loves Raymond and the star of Somebody Feed Phil. So can you tell us a little bit about how you got to where you are today? And has being on TV and working in the industry always been your dream?
Yes. Ever since I was a little kid and I saw Mary Poppins. I was 4 years old when that movie came out. I'm sure you've both seen it, right?
Absolutely. We love it.
One of our favorites.
If you find that our interviews bring you a small bit of happiness, please support Anastasia and I by giving Hack Your Happiness a 5-star review. It literally takes 5 seconds. You just click the star button, maybe type a few small happy words, and leave the review. It really helps us grow our show, get more guests, and upgrade the production quality. So if you're able to take 5 seconds out of your days to spread some small bits of happiness to us and our whole community, we would really appreciate it. Now let's get back to the episode.
Do you love it as much as me? Yeah. So when you're a little kid and you see that, you have to remember the world was smaller. We didn't have all the things that you have access to today. And so to go and see something like that was in a movie theater was a very big deal. Before all the special effects that we have now and all that. So when you saw like Dick Van Dyke dancing with animated penguins, that was mind-blowing. That was like the biggest, surpasses any AI you could dream of today when we saw that. So I wanted to live in that world. I wanted to live in the magical world instead of the Bronx where I was living in New York. And we never got to go anywhere really when we were kids. My parents didn't have a lot of money. We didn't even have really great food because they both worked. And it was all they could do to get food on the table. So it wasn't fantastic. It wasn't until I left the house that I had food with what we call flavor. But when I did, that became like my true love. And I always wanted to eat well. Now, because I wanted to be in the world of show business, I was in all the school plays. Do you guys do the school plays?
I haven't really. We go to them, but we don't usually.
We love watching
We see our
them.
friends.
I see. But but you'd rather do this than you'd rather be yourselves and be interviewers.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I get it. All right. Well, it sure is fun. And you make a lot of friends. You make a lot of great friends. And that's what I did. And I was so good in high school that they said, you should go to college for this. So I went to theater school, Hofstra University in Long Island, which is just next to New York City. And then after that, I moved into New York City. And even though I was a big star in high school and college, nobody called New York to tell them what a big star I was. So I was out there with 40,000 other people trying to be actors. And I struggled a long time. I had all kinds of odd jobs. But you know what? I was happy because of this thing in our Declaration of Independence. We have the pursuit of happiness is a right that we all have, the pursuit of happiness. And just pursuing the thing that you love, what made me happy. I hope that's what you guys are doing too, because this is your life, and you deserve to be happy. So that's what I did. So I struggled, yes, but I was young. I could take it. And then some friends of mine and I wrote a show for ourselves to be in. And that took off. And then I realized, oh, maybe I could write. I never knew I could write. I moved to Hollywood and I started writing scripts as kind of auditions, sample scripts. And I would hand them in. And sure enough, I got hired on a sitcom. And I worked on sitcoms for 5 years. And then the 5th year of doing that, I met Ray Romano. Ray Romano was a comedian, and he had been trying to get on the David Letterman show. Have you ever heard of that show? That was a talk show at night. And David Letterman had a production deal at CBS and said there should be a show for this Ray Romano guy. And they set about looking for writers to create a show for Ray. And so I met with him, and we both had really funny family stories about our families. His was Italian, mine was Jewish, not very different. And it's kind of loosely based on his actual life. He really has twin boys and an older daughter, and his brother's a police sergeant, and he's divorced, and he lives with his parents close by, if not right across the street. And what I didn't know about the characters of these people, I filled in with the characters from my family. So everything you saw on Everybody Loves Raymond happened to me, or to Ray, or to one of the other writers. If you worked for me, I would say, go home, get in a fight with your family, and come back in and tell me about it. And all the shows came from this. So we're starting from a real place. So if it resonates with you, if you identify with it, right, or it feels real to you, it's because it is real.
I love that.
I love that.
What an amazing backstory. And I love that you pulled in aspects of, all the different people you worked with into the show to really make it authentic.
Absolutely.
And I love that pursuit of happiness, because I think sometimes we always focus on the end goal, when I graduate, when I get the job, when I,
That's right.
hit that PR in fitness. But it's about the process that I think is truly the...
Exactly. You're very smart. And by the way, all those struggles, all those odd jobs that you never wanted to do, that you hate doing even, that all goes in the back of your mind. It's all stuff that you can pull from. I know what it's like to be a guard at the museum. I know what it's like to work in a deli, right? Because I did it. I may not have loved it, but it's all in there, and it connects me to the real world.
Absolutely. And I feel like that's also so great and so important, because it's like, it all kind of added eventually to your story. Eventually, at first, it was like, oh, I don't really know why this is all happening. But in the end, everything adds up to be where you need to be, and it's all important for your life story. And you have traveled to so many incredible countries and experienced various unique cultures. What's the biggest thing that you've learned about happiness from your travels, and how can we implement these learnings into our daily lives?
That's a great question. The first time I got to travel, and I didn't have any money, but I got what's called a courier flight. Do you know what that means? I don't know if they do it anymore, at least legally. They have these, like, have you heard of DHL?
Yes.
Or FedEx? When DHL was first starting, it's like FedEx. They would send their cargo as a passenger on a regular airplane, as a coach passenger. You would bring the luggage tags for all their cargo, and then you'd hand them off to whatever city they were going to a guy waiting at the airport with a sign, DHL, and you give them the luggage tags, and they're not paying you or for your vacation, but your flights both ways are free just by doing this. This was some gig to get. This was really good. I did it 3 times. And the first time I was 23 years old. I'd never been anywhere, but I went to Paris. And from Paris, I went to Florence in Italy. Well, like I said, I didn't have a lot of money, but I just had a baguette and cheese in Paris. Have you been to Paris?
Yes.
We love it.
It's amazing.
You're way ahead of me. So you already know what I'm going to tell you, that it changes your life to see another place. And the best thing it does is it gives you a new perspective on life. you see the world differently because you've seen the world, right? So, like, for instance, I'm walking down the Champs-Elysees in Paris and I'm marveling at the architecture, how beautiful Paris is, right? And I'm seeing even the trees, the way they line the streets, so beautiful. And I have the time of my life. And then I come home and I live in not the best part of Manhattan, all the way up north, not really special in any way, except for the first time after coming back from the trip, I'm looking at the trees and I go, hey, we have nice trees too. I never noticed them until I had something to compare them to. Were they the same trees as Paris? No, but they're also nice. So to have this appreciation for a place and then to bring that joy of life home with you and experience it at home and realize what you have at home, not the same, but different. Also good? Yes, also good. So that is what I go through life with now because I travel. I love every place I am because every place and every person has something to offer. So you have to appreciate it. You have to learn to appreciate it, but you can't if you only see this narrow, tiny space that you're in.
Absolutely.
That is such a good learning, and I think it's amazing because it's not, exclusive to Paris. It's like wherever you go in life, you can learn something and then bring that attention and focus back and just improve your daily life with being more grateful.
And I feel like it's also so great because it's like you said, you're comparing and you're also noticing maybe things you didn't love and then the things that maybe you actually do love about your home.
What you missed.
Exactly, because when you're away,
exactly right.
You start to notice, I kind of miss this little aspect of back home. And then when you're there, you notice all of these amazing things that you don't have, or you might even be like, hey, we also have that there. That's really cool.
And I think that even if someone doesn't travel, I think this is an important thing for anyone listening is think of 3 things in your daily life that you do every day that bring you joy, but maybe you don't pay attention to it actively, and by being more intentional, it can really, improve your mood.
I wake up every day grateful. Every day I'm grateful, first of all, at my age, that I got up. Second, that I have a beautiful family and a great dog and a nice house and a roof over my head and a bed to sleep in. This is more than most people have. So I just feel grateful and lucky, and I can go for my morning walk with my dog and meet friends for coffee. These simple things. I got this from my parents. My parents, they didn't really have a lot of big things that gave them joy. They didn't have a TV show on Netflix that they get to meet people from around the world, right? They led a very simple life. My dad loved very soft scrambled eggs. That's his favorite thing in life. Fluffy eggs, he called them. He would say to my mom, Helen, are my eggs fluffy? And she would say, Max, I've been cooking your eggs for 60 years. Do you think I know how to make your eggs? He goes, I'm just asking. On his tombstone, it says, are my eggs fluffy? And next to his tombstone is her tombstone. And that says, I'm listening to the opera, which was her great joy. Every Saturday afternoon, they would broadcast the opera. And she would listen to it. And God forbid you disturb her while she's listening to the opera. So here are the lessons I got. These things made them so happy. Fluffy eggs, opera. If you can find a simple thing in life that makes you happy every day, maybe you'll be happy every day.
I love that.
That is so aligned
amazing.
with what we're trying to do with, Small Bits of Happiness in our podcast. The small good things in daily life make up more than the big major things that happen once in a while.
I love chocolate. If I have a piece of chocolate, you never saw a happier guy.
I know. For me, my favorite food is yogurt and granola, and we make our granola at home, and it's so amazing. Mm-hmm. I'll be making it with my mom, and I just can't stop eating it.
Every day?
Not every day. I eat it. I don't. No, I can't take it to school. I on weekends.
Every weekend.
All right, so at least you have something special that you love that you look forward to every week. It's great.
I recently came back from a trip with my dad, and I brought my Manta sleep mask with me. And I have to tell you, this sleep mask was game-changing.
Plus, I lent my Manta sleep mask to my dad so he could sleep on the plane, and oh my gosh, Anastasia, you tell them.
Oh, yes. I slept so well. My dad said that he woke up, he had no idea where he was, because these are 100% blackout, so you won't see any lighting. They help you sleep longer and deeper. The silk one is super silky and amazing. My dad used Mercedes' sound eye mask that can play sounds to help you sleep.
I mean, what don't they have? And best of all, these gifts are fantastic for college going away gifts. I know right now it's a season of change in a lot of our lives. So if you're looking for a great gift to get yourself or a teen in your life, the Manta Sleep Mask is a thoughtful gift that brings us a small bit of happiness because, I mean, sleep is linked to more happiness and wellness. So you can shop now using the link in our show notes.
So let's get back to the episode.
So as two sisters who work together, we love watching you and your brother Richard working together as well. And a lot of times parents and teenagers come up to Anastasia and I and ask us for advice on how to build a stronger sibling bond between them or their kids. And so what are your top tips, Phil, for building a strong bond with one's sibling?
First of all, you two are a beautiful example of how to do this. Way better than Richard and I were when we were your age. I think when we were your age, you're 17 and 15, we were already getting along. But when we were little, see, your age difference is really good, I think, because you can really be sisters. You can really be best friends. I'm 5 years older than him. So you can imagine being 5 years old. See, you didn't know life really before your sister, right? I knew a very good life before my brother. I was the star of that apartment. I was the big deal. And then here comes my replacement. That's how it felt. So I was not happy with him. And we, I was not nice. I was not nice to him. I was not, yes, I loved him and he was my younger brother and I protect him and all that. But I was kind of resentful that he was taking all the spotlight. It might be why I had to go into show business to get, some attention. Because he got all the attention. Until I kind of left the house at 17, I went to college. And then I realized how good I had it at home and how much I missed him. And then we became best friends. So I was best man at his wedding. He was best man at my wedding. And now we work together. Nothing gave my parents more joy than to see their boys not only not fighting every day, but being best friends and working together and being so happy at what we do together. That's one of the greatest joys in my life, is to have that connection with him. Because I don't have to tell you, you have a shorthand with each other, right? There's none of this awkward stuff. She knows what you're thinking. You know what she's thinking. You could tell by just a silence, a tiny silence, or a tiny eyebrow, or any, like the lip went like this. I know what that means, right? Now, he is getting even with me for being mean to him when he was little, because he throws me in the cold water. He makes me go in fast race cars when I don't want to. He makes me do things I don't want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of the things is like for people who want to build a stronger bond with their family is like spending more time doing things that you both enjoy. Because I think sometimes there's a lot of differences, maybe one sibling is more athletic and one loves to read. Or maybe, they don't have similar interests or there's a bigger age gap. But I think when you realize like one day we're going to miss this time apart, just like when you moved out, yes. It's like just spend that time together because it's such a precious bond. And so I think like if you can find a common ground of like, hey, let's go for a walk or let's go for lunch or let's, whatever it is that you both can find joy in and then start some conversations over, I think that's a great way to boost that bond
and
as well.
I know my dad as well has always been like very adamant about, he was like, you guys are your best friends. And it really hit, especially when we got older.
He's right. I mean, obviously, friends argue, fight even, but this bond is forever.
100%.
Exactly. And you've talked so much about the importance of leaving room in one's schedule and life for a little bit of serendipity and spontaneity. What does this mean to you, and how can we all be a little bit more serendipitous?
So I give you an example. Let's say you're planning a vacation, and you planned everything. You know all the restaurants you want to hit in this place, right? You read about it. You saw it on Instagram. I'm going. And you get there, and either the plane was late, or the car was late, or it's pouring rain, you're never going to get across town, or you get there and it was closed today for some reason, the owner got sick, whatever it was. Oh my God, the disappointment. Now you just, we've been traveling for 18 hours, I don't even care where I go, let's just eat over here. Why? Because it's open, and it's now, and I'm wet, and I'm tired, and I'm hungry, and you go in, what do you have? Oh, I just have pasta, fine, I don't care, just give it to me, it's here. All of a sudden, boom! The meal of your life. This can happen to you. It's happened to me because your expectations maybe were a little lower, or because you just tried it to see, hey, look at all the local people eating over there. They seem to know a place they like. Yeah, is that better than just going by something that looks pretty on Instagram? You bet it is. Always. Not just once or twice, every single time. A lot of stuff for Instagram just looks good. Doesn't mean it is good, right? And people line up to get a picture with this donut. And I understand. It does look fantastic. But, I fell for it a couple times, and then I'm not going to be fooled anymore. I love going where the locals go. That's what I mean by serendipity. You can't plan that. You have to go to the places and look around and see, which you can't do until you're there. That's what I mean by serendipity. Or you're eating someplace, and the person next to you go, we had pizza the other day down the street. It was the best pizza of my life. I wouldn't have known that unless I talked to a person that I met at this one thing. That's serendipity. Or, even better, they say, we're going to take you there tomorrow. And now you're friends.
Oh, I love
Absolutely.
that.
It's
and I
so
think
amazing to speak to just people around you.
You never
I
know who you might meet.
Exactly. And
Yes.
you share each other's stories. Oh, I went here. This was absolutely amazing.
And what I love about what you said, Phil, is that aspect of, if you plan everything in advance, you read all the TripAdvisor reviews, then you're kind of mindlessly going through your trip. Okay, check, we did this, on to the next stop. Meanwhile, if you're leaving some room for serendipity and spontaneity, you're actually going to be more present in the moment and more mindful of each experience.
You should have a travel show. This is exactly what I tell people. Also, don't just go by TripAdvisor. What you want to do is, if you Google something, like best place to eat Calgary, this is going to, maybe the TripAdvisor reviews will be the first one that comes up. But keep going down and seeing what the local papers say. See what the bloggers say. Yes, even look at the Instagram and see what, because some people are real foodies, not just picture takers, right? And you see reviews and stuff. That's where I learned. And when things start popping up on different lists, then maybe there's something there. Not just one list or one picture from Instagram.
Totally.
Exactly. You got to look mindfully. You got to compare and contrast.
Yes.
And so Anastasia and I are so excited for your upcoming season of Somebody Feed Phil. But from your travels, from all the seasons, or maybe from the latest season, what has been your favorite food and the most unique / surprising food you've tried?
In this season or any season?
Whatever season you want to share.
Most surprising food. Well, here's something I never had before. You know what cow soy is?
No.
Cow soy is a dish from Thailand. Have you been to Thailand?
No.
No, it's on the bucket list.
It's really good and beautiful. And you can go to these places where you mingle with the elephants, right? I mean, there's things like this to do. It's wild and great. Cow soy is a coconut curry broth with fresh hand-pulled noodles at the bottom, like the best pasta you ever had at the bottom. And then whatever meat or protein you want. So it can be shrimp, beef, chicken, tofu, even if you're vegetarian. And then chilies and pickled mustard greens and onions and things like this, spices, and then all topped with crispy, crunchy noodles on top. So this is one of the most delicious things I ever had, and it's $1, which is my second favorite price.
Wow, that is amazing. I mean, I remember watching that episode.
Definitely.
In Thailand, yes.
Yes, you looked very happy, and I was like, well, if we ever go, we have to go
Exactly.
and get
We
that.
know where we're going.
Yes.
Do you have Thai food in Calgary?
We do,
We do.
but I don't think I've ever tried that.
See if they have cow soy on the menu. KHAOSOI, cow soy.
Okay.
Perfect.
You will like it. I did something I never do on the show. I finished not only a full bowl, which I never finish anything, because I have to keep eating, right? So I don't finish. And I share with the crew. I finished that whole bowl of the chicken cow soy, and then I had a full bowl of the beef cow soy.
Wow.
You know what? When it's good, you just
You
gotta eat all of it. You gotta
enjoy
appreciate it.
Exactly.
When will I be back at this little shack in the middle of Thailand that took hours and hours to get there, I'm going to eat.
Yeah, absolutely. Amazing. And so traveling, whether it's to Thailand or even a local town nearby, can often bring a lot of uncertainties. So how do you, what's your advice for others, for anyone listening, on how to manage life's most unpredictable situations?
Oh, great. That's so great. Keep a sense of humor. Once in a while, they're going to lose your luggage. It's annoying, right? Once in a while, it's going to rain and you don't have an umbrella. That's annoying. So you can either let it ruin your vacation or you can have a good attitude. Everything around you is variable, meaning it can always change. If you are constant, then you bring the consistency with you. If you have the attitude, and by the way, I'm telling you guys, but I wish that I was more like this because I let it get to me too. I'm a human being. I get mad. I get frustrated with little things too. But it is stupid to do that. You want to have a good attitude. And always remember, you're starting from a baseline of grateful. And if that's real and true, then you can't let the rain come. It's fine. I'll be dry in a minute.
Absolutely. I think that's so amazing. And on top of that, what I love to think about situations like this is I know that sometimes, something negative will happen and you'll be like, oh, this is so bad. It's ruined my day. But then you realize, especially if it's like on a vacation and something like big happened, it can actually add to the trip because then you have like a funny story that you can come out of it. I love kind of reframing it like that. I'll be like, this really sucks right now, but like in like a day or two, I'm going to be telling this to like everyone about how funny this is, and I will never forget it.
Everything is material. Everything goes just like I said about having the bad jobs when you're young. That all goes in here, and it's all good stories. In fact, I sold my first script from something terrible that happened to me 10 years earlier when I was struggling. I got fired from the museum, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, my first job out of college, because I worked a graveyard shift. That's midnight to 8 in the morning. And I thought I could do this. And I fell asleep on a 300-year-old bed in the exhibit. As part of an exhibit, I fell asleep on the bed. Humiliating. I was so embarrassed. I loved working at the museum. And they fired me and threw me out. 10 years later, we're writing the first script. What should we write about? What if the dad has they need extra money, and he gets a job working from midnight to 8 in the morning at the local museum. He falls asleep on a 300-year-old bed. And all the people around Hollywood read the script and said, what an imagination.
That is hilarious.
I love that.
You can always turn the negative into positive.
Exciting news! If you didn't know, Anastasia and I actually have an entire product line that we've designed and developed together to help you find more happiness in daily lives, because we all need something tangible. This is our latest activity box, the Mission Family Time. It comes with 4 card categories: talking points, DIYs, fun things to do at home, as well as fun things to do outside of home. So Anastasia, let's grab a card. What would you say are 3 of your personal strengths?
I'm creative.
You are.
Good at writing. I'm good at talking to people. How about you?
Love it. I think I'm pretty hardworking.
Definitely.
I'm focused.
Definitely.
And also funny sometimes. That's a great way for you to get to know yourself as well as your loved ones more. And it also makes for a great gift. So you can shop Mission Family Time now. It's linked in the show notes.
Now let's get back to the episode.
I love
Absolutely.
that. Absolutely.
And something that we love about your show is at the end of each episode, you always celebrate your dad and his iconic jokes by calling a friend and having them share a joke.
We love it.
So as we wrap up this episode, could you share a joke with our listeners?
Yes. Here's a joke that my friend Andy Kindler, who was on Raymond, he did a joke for Max. And I just love this joke. And I know my dad, this was right in his wheelhouse. He would have loved this joke. An old lady is very cheap old lady. She doesn't want to spend a dime. She's very cheap. But her husband passes away and she has to call the newspaper to put the obituary in the newspaper. And she says, how much is it to put the obituary? And he says, it's $5 a word. And she says, oh, all right, put this down. Sal died. And he says, I'm sorry, ma'am, there's a 5-word minimum. And she says, oh, all right, put this down. Sal died, Volvo for sale.
Oh, that's funny.
That's funny.
I love that.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. I love that aspect of your episode. Just like a small way to wrap up each one with a little joke. I think it's so sweet and I want to.
It's a tribute to Dad. I wouldn't be here without him. I wouldn't be here without his sense of humor. You know, my parents met when she saw my dad telling jokes in an amateur night in a nightclub.
That's amazing.
So such a wonderful story.
I love that.
And so for our final question today,
Yes.
what do you do, Phil, every day that brings you a small bit of happiness?
You know, these things I mentioned where like walking my dog to coffee and sitting with my friends, I do that every day that I'm home. I have some food that I know is going to make me happy. And I try to have lunch with a friend that I know will make me happy. And I meet people in the street that make me happy. Especially with the show now, I have a little bit of, I think of what is the perfect amount of fame. Meaning, once in a while, someone comes up to you and say they like what you do. I wish everybody had this, right? Because I don't think we get it enough. I think a lot of people aren't appreciated enough. I'm appreciated more than enough. And it's not overwhelming. You know, I can still walk down the street without I'm not Harry Styles. But I do get, you know, this nice pat on the back once or twice a day. So sweet. And I meet the nicest people like you too. And it's just, it's an absolute joy.
Aw, what
That's
a
so
wonderful,
amazing.
wonderful thing. And I'm so happy that, you know, people come up to you because we are also such huge fans of your show. And I think that having you on here today has really been a highlight of our week.
Absolutely. This
for
has been
us.
so fun.
Yeah, so thank you.
Thank you so much. And I'll see you in Calgary.
Exciting news, the new season of Somebody Feed Phil has just been released. It has some amazing stories and such amazing food, and you can learn so much more about what makes people in all of these amazing countries also feel happy. It's the perfect summer show, the perfect travel show, the perfect food show, the perfect family show. I mean, it's just perfect for everything, and you can check it out now on Netflix. It's called Somebody Feed Phil. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of Hack Your Happiness, and thank you so much to Phil for joining us today.
Anastasia and I have truly been watching Somebody Feed Phil for years now. Like, I remember we started watching it when I was in grade 5 and I'm almost done grade 11. So I'm
really crazy.
so excited that today was just like a really crazy moment and it was an amazing conversation. So Anastasia, what was your biggest takeaway?
I think my biggest takeaway is that we just have to appreciate and be grateful for everything that we have. We have so many blessings all around us, and that it's so important to just, you know, accept that kind of serendipity, not have to have everything planned out for you. How about you?
100%. And I think one of the biggest things that I learned from Phil today is like, don't always plan everything out. Kind of what you said, like be serendipitous, be okay with not knowing what you're gonna do next, whether that's in your life. Like, I think this applies to, you know, traveling, of course, but also like life in general. Like, sometimes we don't know where we're gonna be a year from now or a month from now, or doing what we're gonna be doing about a certain choice. Like, we're kind of procrastinating it. And I think it's okay. There's beauty in the unknown. If you enjoyed this episode with Phil, we think you would absolutely love our interview with TV personality and adventure guide Hazen Audell. Hazen shares his craziest firsthand experiences of living in different parts of the world in the wilderness. He also shares hacks for facing your fears and advice for trying new things.
When you're young, you just give up so fast because you think it's the hardest thing you've ever experienced. It is the hardest thing you've ever experienced in your life, but that's just the beginning of how hard life is. But you have to understand that life does get better. And if we didn't experience hard times, we would never really be able to cherish how great it is when things are really good.
You can listen to Hazen's interview now. It's linked in the show notes.
If you enjoyed this week's episode of Hack Your Happiness, please leave us a 5-star review from wherever you're listening. It really helps us out and we really appreciate it.
Also, be sure to join our happiness family. It's completely free, and that way you'll never miss another episode of Hack Your Happiness. Plus, when you join our podcast, it helps us keep it free and keep making it better with each and every episode that we publish. And you can join the happiness family by following our podcast on whichever podcast platform you're listening on now. See you next time!